Hello guys, this is your BTEC National Sport Level 3 taster session. Hope you're all well. What I'm going to be going through today is just a quick taster on what your course will look like. Hope you enjoy it, and if you've got any questions, please email me and I can answer any questions you may have. Okay, what you'll be doing over the 2 years is a little bit similar to the level 2 but with a difference. So what you've got is the first year that you have, so year 12, you'll have unit 1 and unit 2. Now unit 1 is anatomy and physiology, and unit 2 is fitness training and programming for health, sport and well-being. Both of these are exam units. Now with these, we've decided to make sure that we get all your exams done in year 12, so when you get to year 13 you'll have the externally assessed units. Now those externally assessed units are unit 7 and unit 3. Unit 7 is the practical sports performance, and unit 3 is professional development in sport and industry. The practical sport performance is predominantly a practical unit with some written work as well, so you do get to practice isolated practices, condition practices and a full game in 2 different sports. The unit 3 is a work experience type unit where you apply for jobs, you understand how a job actually works, you look at your CV, you look at job descriptions, anything that the sort of sport industry sort of supplies is what you look at. Okay, as described in the previous slide, you can see what sort of things you actually cover with Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3 and Unit 7. You've got the skeletal system, muscular system, respiratory system, and various different other things to do with anatomy and physiology. In Unit 2, what you cover is things like the lifestyle choices, nutrition requirements, training methods, modifications to your health and diet to improve. And both these are exams. With Unit 3, you have a look at the sports industry jobs, the career skills audit, career development plans, interviews, and that's one thing actually I didn't mention earlier, is you actually have to perform an interview under a video showing your ability to tackle what you have to go through in any kind of job. You'll be looking at an interview, and then you get that recording of an interview and you have to then dissect where you did well, what you didn't do so well, and what you could improve on in the future. And then Unit 7, which is probably everyone's favourite one, which is the practical one. This is where you look at the rules and regulations of 2 different sports, one individual, one team sports, the tactics. You get to participate and plan your own isolated practices, your condition practices, and you also get to play a full game under strict conditions, all being filmed these, and you then have to evaluate a performance of your own and see, a bit like Sky Sports really, when they analyse performances at the end of a game, you'll be doing exactly the same for yourselves. Okay, it's time now to look at some work for you to do. So with a pen and paper, I want you to write down as many jobs in the sports sector as you possibly can in 30 seconds. Go. Okay, so you've had 30 seconds there to write down as many sports as you can. Obviously I've given you one there, the sports physiotherapist. I wonder what sort of jobs you actually come up with, and you can send me those at the end of this presentation when you've completed all the different parts. So we're going to look at career pathways, which is all related to Unit 3 to begin with. And so one of your jobs is to look at the previous slide that you just looked at and all the previous jobs that you put down, and what qualifications do you think you need for this job, and what skills do you think you need to be successful at this job. So I just want you to just list them and sort of think outside the box, but also maybe look at the pictures that you've got in front of you. Okay, so once you've got all those down, obviously you can pause this slide at any time you ever want to actually put down your different skills, your different qualifications, and whenever you need to, just take a pause of the actual video so you can actually get the work done. Again, I'll keep repeating this. Make sure you please email me all your different answers so I can see that you've actually taken part, and to see what kind of things you're actually thinking about when doing your actual work, so I can see if you can actually sort of participate and hopefully get onto the course for year 12. Okay, moving on to the skeletal system, which is unit 1. You've got 5 questions there. I'm not going to read them out. You can read those yourself. I want you to maybe go and research some of this. Some of you might already know it, but you've got about 30 seconds or so to look at these different things. And you also, if you look at the key words there, you've got sort of identify there, and identify here, describe, describe again, explain and analyze. Now these actual key words are the sort of buzzwords around BTEC to represent what we're actually looking for. Identify is more of a past criteria. Describe is sort of past, possibly merit, but explain and analyze, these are 2 words. Explain is definitely a merit sort of criteria, and analyze is definitely a distinction piece of work. So you've got 5 questions there. Just take a look at those and do the best you possibly can, and again, you can send me this work when you've finished. So good luck. So for some of these answers, you can see I've just given you some of the answers here on the opposite page. If you look at the 2 highlighted one, hamstring and the quadricep here, they are your 2 antagonistic muscles, antagonistic pairs, should I say, that will work together to cause flexion and extension. Hopefully you got that. But these are sort of things that we will be looking at and in far more detail when you come back in September. So a bit of think time now. This is related to Unit 7 Practical Sport. If you look at the quote there, the most important thing in Olympic Games is not to win but to take part, just as the most important thing in life is not the triumph but the struggle. I want you to, do you agree with this? Have an argument with yourself, put some positives, negatives down, look at various different ways and how you could tackle this sort of quote, and I want your opinions and give me some examples of why you've chosen one or the other. Okay, good luck. Continuing with Unit 7, which is going to be your sport. I want you to think of your sport, your favourite sport, the one you play or the one you most like watching, most one you actually enjoy doing things with or understanding that sport. You choose it. So put that in your head, and then you've got 3 questions there, and I want you to try and identify. Remember, I word identify is more of a past criteria. As many different rules as you can in 30 seconds. Number 2, for the rules that you would have chosen, I want you to explain this rule in its most simplest terms. So if you're thinking of the offside rule in football, how can you explain that in the most simplest form? So if you're telling your younger brother or sister that have never played the game, or someone that has never even seen football, how do you explain the offside rule to them in the simplest form? And number 3, for another rule on your list, I want you to explain why an official of the game would give that decision to uphold this rule. So you've got to put yourself in the official's eyes now, so the referee of that game, and what have they seen to give that rule or to give that decision within the game. So again, I want you to get all this information down and recorded and then sent to me by email, so you can reiterating that each time so I can see you're doing the work. So give that a go, and good luck. Okay, guys, we are on to Unit 2 now, and what you have to do with Unit 2 is you get a scenario based question. So the question you get given is 6 questions. They're always the same. You get to research this person, research what sort of things that they could do to improve their lifestyle, called modification techniques, and you have to understand them. You have to really get into understanding this person and what their issues are, what they could do to improve, and really sort of divulge into the inner person to understand them. And for this sort of question, you'll see that this is an actual scenario based from our very first exam 4 or 5 years ago. And it's a girl called Helen, and this is her scenario, and you can read that yourself. And what I want you to do is to think about what modification techniques she could introduce to make her lifestyle better. So, for example, here in the very first sentence, she's overweight. Now, being overweight could bring many different factors and problems to somebody. What could you do and offer her to improve her and lose weight? That's something that you can look at, but there's plenty of other things in there that you can look at to think of her modifications, and I want you to pick them out, and I want you to give what she could do. You might want to research some of this as well, but you should do this by yourself, or in a small household, or in one of your bubbles. You can do it with as many people as you want. You can ask people. Some people that may have some of these issues that you might want to talk to them about. It's something that is an ongoing process that you could look at and maybe talk with your parents, uncle, aunts, friends, lots of different things that you could look at and what modification techniques. Once you've done that, it's time to finish. It's your end of your session. And hopefully you'll be sending me all your work that you've done from this session. I look forward to reading some of your answers, and good luck in getting into Year 12, and see you all soon.